Hello, Facebook. All right. So, welcome to the 7 days to finding your soulmate challenge. And, I'm going to begin and just jump right into it. I got a lot to cover today. So, let's do that. Give you guys a few minutes. And if you're joining in, go ahead and post a comment, put your name, actually write your first name, and then tell me a little bit about where you're located at, and maybe what's your biggest challenge. It'd be great to hear, like, what's your biggest challenge you're dealing with. If you've already posted something like that, that's okay. Don't worry about it. But name, comma, and then your biggest challenge, where you're from, anything like that. All right, perfect. I'll give you guys a few seconds to do that, and then we shall begin. So, let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Okay, welcome to the 7 days to finding your soulmate challenge. And we are on day 3 now. So if you haven't got a chance to listen to day 1 and day 2, go back and do that. Make sure that you're on track, because all of this is going to build up. So just so you know, it's not, I'm waiting for the secret at the end. No, everything from the start to the finish, it's like building a house. This is the foundation pieces that we're doing now. And without them, the beautiful house is not going to survive. So anyhow, make sure you go back day 1, day 2, and then here's day 3. You can watch day 3 today and then go back. It doesn't matter, but just make sure you get those all in order, because they all build. Day 1 made day 2 better. Day 1 and 2 will make this day even better. So anyhow, let's jump right into it. I got a lot to cover today, and let's see. All right, so our topics today is, obviously I'll go through, do an intro. We're going to talk about fear. So I think this is very crucial. There's a lot of fear around finding your soulmate. And we want to address that, because mindset is crucial, and a lot of what we've been doing on day 1 and day 2 is part of mindset as well. But the fear mindset is another major one that either stops people or like holds them back from having what they really want in their life, and that's finding their soulmate. And when I say soulmate, I mean your ideal partner, or your significant other, or the woman of your dreams, or the man of your dreams, however that is, for you. That's what I mean by soulmate. It's that person that's there for the rest of your life. And, everything is like simpatico. It just fits and it works together, and there's a connection, and you kind of know each other mentally back and forth without even words. So I think that's very, very important, is finding that special person, your soulmate, that ideal partner, however you want to call it. And, today we're going into mindset, all about fear. And then, of course, I'll do some more Q&A and answer any questions. I think a lot of people have been posting on the Facebook site, in my Facebook group. That's great. I go there. I'll check there as well. You can put comments throughout the time. It doesn't matter. You don't have to wait to Q&A. Go ahead and put in the comments whatever questions that you have, either from day 1 or day 2, or even today, whatever works. And just make sure you put your first name and then whatever question that you're going to do. It helps me identify that. If you want to be anonymous, that's fine too. But just make sure you do that in the comments. And you can do that now or anytime during the process, or throughout the training and coaching and so on. So let's jump right in. And first off, the fun part as a coach, it's a love-hate relationship. But did you do your homework? Because if you didn't do your homework, then, how are you going to get results? So did you do your homework for day 1? Did you do your homework for day 2? Did you catch up on your homework for those? Wherever you're at is where you're at. but if you did, I just want to say congratulations, for really taking this challenge on and pushing yourself to that next level and really being that extraordinary person. I mean, that is huge. Not a lot of people are committed to doing that. And I know that because I did it. And so I know what it is to put certain things aside, to give up things that are comfortable and really just get this stuff done and make it a priority, because it is important for you to have that special person in your life. So, and if you didn't do your homework, well, I'm sure there's a lot of great reasons that prevented you from, and that's part of life. In fact, that's a normal life. Everyone always has reasons why they didn't do the things that really are in alignment to getting them to what they really want in their life. Most of the time, that is where we are, unconsciously going through being normal and not doing what we really need to be doing to get to the destination that we want. So wherever you're at, it's a new game. I declare that game from day 1 to day 2 homework is over. We're now on day 3. So now you can play a whole new game. You can, play full out, be that extraordinary person. And, you just got to choose for yourself. I mean, do you want to be normal? Do you want to be extraordinary? You want to be the normal person, say, hey, yeah, I kind of know that. I've already done that. I'm ahead of that. I'm just waiting for the good pieces. That's great. Well, you can be normal like that. Or you can be extraordinary and have the highest probability of finding your soulmate even quicker. So you get to choose. So it's a new game, like I said. So play full out today, and you can see exactly what the difference is that you got from playing full out versus playing that normal type activity. All right. So let's jump in it today. So have you conditioned your mind to let fear control the situation? Have you conditioned your mind to let fear control the situation? Well, that's the question I want you to really think about. I mean, a lot of times we're really unconscious in our decisions. And when we are, we can think of like all those reasons that show up on why we don't want to do blank, do X, do Y, that kind of thing. So, and when that happens, what's really there is we're letting fear, right? Like really interact us. So those reasons are there, but what's behind all those reasons is really that fear. And that fear could be, being alone, not wanting to be alone, or not being good enough, or, looking bad, or failing, or, having our heart broken again, or crushed, or being judged again, or being hurt, feeling sad or being sad, not worthy enough, or maybe I'm not successful enough yet to be doing this. Whatever it is, behind those reasons, there's usually these deep, long strands of, emotions and fears that are there. And that's exactly what we want to cover today, because if you don't get to those, you're going to go through day after day, week after week, month after month, and life's going to hit you, and you're just going to do the same old unconscious things that you do. And you're going to have the reason, and then what's behind the reason, and you're going to do exactly what that pattern does. Your brain loves being comfortable. It loves not to do a lot of work at all. And if it's able to, it'll just, match it up to something in the past where you weren't good enough and do that same thing. That might be to run, that might be to fight at that moment. That might be to flight, right? I mean, there's all sorts of different things that your brain wants to do, but it wants to do the easy one. And if you don't kind of take control of the wheel of your life, then your brain's just automatically going to go to that. And usually it's those reasons and what's behind the reasons, and that's what you're going to follow. So I don't want that. So you want to start to think, what can you do about that? Because your brain is going to go into what I call your if syndrome. And you might, connect with this because the if syndrome, if you really think about it, it's like, one, if I do X, then, I could lose all of A and B and C and all those things in my life, right? Like if I, dump this guy or this woman that is really not my soulmate, then I could lose that comfortable life of, having someone to go out on with the weekend, or, maybe having sex, man. I mean, a lot of people are addicted to that. Well, then I'll lose that opportunity to keep having sex, so the if syndrome jumps right in immediately. If I do X, then I could lose blank, and you just got to really ask yourself, are you settling for the relationship, because your mind wants to be comfortable, right? And in control and use those fears to control you, which we all know how those relationships end, right? It's usually in a week, in a month, in a year, sometimes years. And then you get fed up with it and say, yeah, forget it. Let's move on. And, why bother going through all of that? And some people even get married and divorced, and that costs thousands and thousands of dollars and time that you've wasted, all because of that. And you got to really get clear on that. I mean, who wants to lose thousands of dollars? Who wants to lose years of your life just because you wanted to do the comfortable thing? The thing that will just let you be comfortable for a while, without thinking. That's to me, I couldn't handle that. So that's one of the ways you can watch out for the if syndrome. The other way, if you think about it, is like, it's always that what if. Well, what if this is not as great as it is on the other side, right? What if this is not great on the other side? So what I mean by that is like the grass is greener over there, right? But what if I, dump this person, go to do that? What if I, stop doing online dating and start talking to people and getting introductions? Is the grass greener or not? You start judging all of that, and then eventually you're going to want to veer towards the comfortable one, which is not changing anything. And changing is huge, because changing allows growth and development, and it allows you to take yourself to the next level. Because if you don't change, then you're going to have more of the same, more of the same things happening over and over and over. So you want to really make sure that, hey, am I really doing this because of those reasons and what's behind those reasons? And, is it that if syndrome, and is it just because I believe, what if it isn't? If it is, then, I'm going to look like I failed, or I'm going to look stupid, or I'm going to look like I'm not good enough, whatever that is, or I'm going to be alone. All sorts of things will show up. And a lot of times, again, it's more of those, what's behind those reasons that stop you. And you got to recognize you got to look at those and see. The other one I think is great is, if I do this, then it's going to be painful, right? If I break this relationship now that I know is not like the best relationship in my life, then it's going to be painful. I'm going to be alone. I'm not going to be able to have sex. I'm not going to have someone to go out with. I'm not, people are going to look at me because now I'm single. They're going to judge me and assess me and all sorts of things. Like, they're going to say, what's wrong with that person? What's wrong with me? And so all of those things will come in, and that pain of that will just prevent you from, forget it. Just try to work the other one out. Just keep trying. I don't want to go through that pain again, because you remember that, right? Your brain remembers that. And, it's more comfortable for you to stay there than having to go through that pain and pain again. So that's another way to look at that if syndrome. And then lastly is if I fail, then it'll kill me, right? Now that's more on the mental side. Like if I really don't do this, if I really don't change, if I really don't find my soulmate, then it's gonna kill you inside, is what I mean, right? It's like gonna destroy you. Your confidence goes down. You know, your ability and self-expression gets eliminated. All sorts of things start to, fall apart. And then you feel like, oh, then why did they fire me at my job? And all sorts of things will crumble if I fail. So it's better for me to keep status quo, or tell people I'm happy to be alone, or tell people, yeah, I'm just waiting, for that special person to come. The universe will deliver that to me. I'm just waiting for that. Or that hopeless feel is what that really is. If you look what's behind all of that, those reasons and the fear that's there is that hopeless feeling shows up, where you just feel like, you know, nothing's going to change. So why bother? I'll just wait. And the likelihood that you're going to just bump into your soulmate is about the likelihood you're just going to walk into $1,000,000. It might happen, just very unlikely. So you really want to start to look at where are these if things, if syndromes coming into your life. And if they're showing up, it's an opportunity once you recognize it to really take control of that. Grab the driver's wheel of your life and start challenging yourself to, level up to that next level and really, push yourself way off to the next level. So, all right, so that's it for that. Any questions on that? If there's questions, again, submit your questions down in the comments. All you got to do is put your first name and then whatever comment or question that you have with that. That is perfect. All right. No question. That's good. Awesome. All righty. Here we go. So here's the other thing to keep in mind is if you don't change, then you're not going to have what you really want in life. You're not going to find that soulmate. I think of that for myself. If I just didn't, push myself to just really, take on this area of my life and find my soulmate, where would I be? I wanted a family. I've got a beautiful wife and 4 kids now. And, I can't imagine all the memories that I have over the last 12, plus years now. And without that, I mean, it's just all because I wanted to be comfortable in my life. I mean, is that really worth it? It isn't. I can tell you on the other side, the last 12 years plus have been amazing. So, yeah, we've had struggles, right? And we've had things that came up, of course. But man, all the good stuff and all the fun stuff that shows up there, wow. I mean, for me, that's what I wanted. You may not want to have kids. Who cares? That's fine. It's your life. You get to envision what you want in your ideal life. So, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about your vision next. In fact, that's session on day 4. So we're going to cover that as well. So, but dude, I mean, that's exactly what I want you to really think about. It's exactly what I want you to think is, you're going to lose track on what you really want in your life if you don't really, take the wheel and start driving yourself, towards what you really want in life. All right. So here's another good question. Have you conditioned your mind to be courageous and fearful? I mean, have you really conditioned your mind to be courageous and fearful? Like really push yourself. I mean, because if you did, right, what would that look like if you did that? I mean, and how would you do that? I mean, think about it. What would it look like if you were always courageous and fearful when something comes up? Someone says, yeah, let's go bungee jumping. You're like, yeah, let's do that. I'd love to do that. Let's schedule that right now. I got my calendar. Let's figure that out. Let's get that in the calendar. Let's do it. Right? Or, hey, you've got, I've got this person I need to introduce you to. I think she might be your soulmate, right? Why not be courageous and fearful, and just, jump out there. Yes, how are you doing? Yeah, oh yeah, I'd love to talk to you. Maybe we can go out. Can I get your number? Let's schedule that. Be someone that's courageous and fearful in your life, and condition your body to be able to handle that. Whether it's working out, getting out of bed, condition yourself to be courageous and fearful. Get up early, get out of bed, get into a routine, get yourself in the right mindset to have the best possible day in your life. And that's the kind of thing, because you never know when life's going to hit you, right? I mean, we never know when we're going to die. So this is it. This morning, get up, do that thing, right? Whatever it is, start conditioning your mind to be courageous and fearful. And some of the great things that I think help me in doing this is to first set a big goal. I think this is great because when you set that big goal, to go really beyond, what you think is possible, it really pushes you to that next level. It allows you to elevate your game to that next level, and then the next level, and the next level, to where you can't even imagine that you've already gone that far. I mean, because when you're conditioning your mind to be courageous and fearful, these goals start to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and so on. So, that's the first thing I think is really crucial. I know for myself, my goal was to find my soulmate by the end of the year. And I thought that was, a very great goal to have. Of course, that was in March, and I thought, wow, I got plenty of time, right? But it was still a little comfortable goal. Like it really wasn't a big goal, but it was a big goal. I mean, in life, but really it was still comfortable. I had a lot of time to procrastinate and make sure that, that goal didn't happen. But it was when I bought those 2 fully paid cruise tickets, for me and the woman of my dreams, and the lady told me, you have 120 days to tell me who that person I need to put on the ticket. That was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get into action, right? I'm running out of time. So that's crucial to really recognize. Get a goal that's going to push you, really push you to the next level. Like I got to get immediately today. Like that night, I was in action. Like okay, what else do I got to do? Okay, what do I got to do? And what I got to and I started making my list and putting my actions together and scheduling my schedule and getting things together, because I had no time and I had a lot of money on the line that technically I couldn't even afford. I mean, I put it on my credit card, but I really couldn't afford it. And I set a goal in my business at the same time, knowing that I got to make more money at the same time. So I did that as well. So either way, it was just like, gotta have those big goals, because it's going to condition you to be more courageous, more fearful, fearless in your life. So that's what I'm talking about. So set a big goal. What is the big goal for you? What's the reward for hitting that goal? And the tip that I want you to know about this, and I call it the tip to succeed, is really to enjoy and welcome failure, right? Like, you're going to fail, right? You've never done this before. Think of it like when you were a baby, right? You're learning how to walk. You knew you were going to fail. You tried over and over and over, but you were relentless about that. You've got to be relentless about achieving your goal. You got to be okay and comfortable with the failure. You got to welcome it. Like, I know this is going to fail, but I'm going to try it again. I know I can break it. And sure enough, you will. I think of the 4-minute mile. I mean, it took years for someone to break the 4-minute mile. But then once they did it, the next year, it was like multiple people starting to break it, because they started to see it was possible. But that first person had to be relentless, to really break through that. No difference as being a baby standing up, falling down, standing up, falling down, standing up, falling down. Think of it as riding a bike. Same thing. How many times did you get on the bike and just ride it? No, you got on the bike, your pedal couple didn't last, you fall, do this. I mean, it took a while to do that. You had to really fail. And here's the thing: did you welcome it? Probably not. You probably are still in the fear base, but your parents or the person helping you probably encouraged you and kept doing it right there with you. And that's important to have that, because eventually you'll get to the place where you can welcome that failure. I know my daughter was that way. When I taught her how to ride a bike, she was just like, let's do it. Come on, let's get up. Let me try it again. Let's try it again. Let's do it again. I mean, she was relentless. So you want to have that, that mindset in place. And so I think that's another crucial thing that makes a huge difference, is you need to condition your mind to overcome repeated failure. Yeah, that's really key. Conditioning your mind to overcome repeated failure. And this is crucial, because if you can condition your mind to do that, right, then failure is just one more step to success, right? How many successful people have failed? Oh gosh, it's overwhelming. And they may not say that sometimes, or they may want to look good about it. But if we watch them through a documentary about it all, there's a ton of failure. How many times did they think I should just quit, right? How many times did they just think I should just do the comfortable thing? How many times? I mean, all those things are there for all of us. It's not just, some superhuman power. No, we all have it. We all go through that struggle. And if you can condition your mind to overcome repeated failure, right, and be courageous and fearless, I mean, that's exactly what's going to make the difference for doing that. And you've got to be relentless about this. I mean, if this is what you really want, you've got to be relentless about it. So I want to talk a little bit about stories in our head, because those reasons and justifications and fears that are all there in our head are considered, they're just stories. Like, they're not really the truth. It's really your brain kind of looking back and thinking, hey, this is how we dealt with this when you were a baby. This is how we dealt with this when you were 2. This is how we dealt with this when you're 5. It's looking back, trying to figure out, how does this relate, so that it can take the most comfortable and easy way to do that, so that you can actually, the brain can relax again. And so anyhow, this is very, very important. Don't borrow beliefs and stories from others that don't feel like you can do this. I mean, that's a major one that happens, because when that happens, then the stories in your heads magnify, like the story, like, I'm not good enough, or, I'm not successful enough, or I can't, I don't want to be alone. And then as soon as you tell someone, this is what I'm going to do, they're like, oh, you can't do that. And that's tough. That's going to be, that's going to be painful. You can't do, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then what if, right? Then there's the what if. There's the, if I do blank, then it's going to be that. It just starts to show up again. So you got to, I don't want to say eliminate or remove those people in your life, but just, slow down the amount of times that you see them. And if they're family members, because that happens a lot too, just, it's just like, thank them for sharing that, but, don't take it with any sort of, I take it as like a salt, a little piece of salt. It's like, thank you very much. All right, great. But I'm moving on, right? I don't need those negative things. I've got plenty of negative things that I can justify and put in my own reasons, in my own head, that are going to prevent me from doing things, let alone to have others keep giving me their reasons too. So, create a community of raving fans for your success. So that's important. Like, get the people to cheer you on. I mean, you still want them to, challenge you and push you, but have them be there to be that raving fan, that cheerleader, that person that's there to acknowledge you and give you kudos when you need them, because we need all of that, right? Because it reminds us, like, I broke through that fear. I was courageous again. I was fearless again. I have more confidence now. And that is crucial that you're doing that. Having that right type of community to do that. I mean, that's why we have our Facebook group. That's why I do things where in groups, is because when you have that group of people all cheering each other on, that they want everyone to move across that finish line. And that makes a huge, huge difference to do that. And put more of your time with those people than you do with the people that aren't encouraging you. And sometimes that's difficult, but you got to make that happen. How do you do that? How do you put yourself more into those types of communities around that? Because you'll level up much quicker having, people like that in your life. So, and don't let those experiences from your past control your actions, in the present. This is huge. I mean, a lot of times it's like, well, my last relationship, this person was this way, and then this is what happened. And then you talk to someone else and they're like, oh, that person's that way, so they like sports too. So I know exactly where that's going to go. So I'm not even going to date. I'm just going to cancel it off right now. So don't let your past kind of push you into that. And we're going to talk a lot about, your vision and who your ideal, soulmate is, and go through some exercises on that tomorrow, actually, in day 4. So we'll start that. And, but yes, you just really don't let your past do that. A lot of times, again, your brain's going back, like I said earlier, and it's looking at your past saying, when this happens, you did this. When this happens, you fight. When this happens, you should flee. When this happens, you should, all those things happen, and your brain's looking to mix those things together and then just take the easy route out. And if you're not in control, unconsciously, that's exactly what's going to happen. So just consider, if you're not in control of that, that's exactly what's going to happen. Your brain's going to want to go towards that and really make that happen. So you want to create new experiences, follow a path of growth and development. Follow a path that's going to level you up to a whole new skill set, a whole new experience that pushes you through to what it is that you really want in your life, to finding your soulmate, to really having that special person in your life. So you got to do that in order to, really get to that next piece. So don't let your past control it, and really create new ones. Like, it goes back to, like I talked about earlier, like, welcome the failure, right? If you're welcoming that failure, you're going to push through that and create new experiences and new successes that were way beyond what you thought is possible. So that's huge that you do that. All right. Don't forget to post any comments or questions or anything like that around. Let's see. You can just write them in the comments section. So if you're not sure, again, just write them in the comments section. I will get to them. Any comments that you have about today's session, or the previous ones, definitely do that. I will get to those questions. Okay. So how do you change fear into results? So how does that happen? Because I think that's crucial. That's really crucial. How do you do that? And we're going to get into that. So the first thing you want to do is you need to identify the fear, right? You need to identify that fear and figure out what is that fear that's there. So is it one of those reasons, one of those justifications? What's the fear behind that? Is it because I just don't want to be alone? Is it because, my heart's been broken way too many times? Is it, just because I'm not successful enough? Or is it just because I don't want to fail again? I've failed so much times. If I fail again, I'll lose it, or, maybe it's, you're not good enough. I'm just not good enough, or I'm not worthy enough. Whatever that fear is, you've got to identify what that is, because if not, your brain is unconsciously going to choose and go down that path on how you deal with that fear. And a lot of it is very comfortable. It's the easy way to do it. So for some of you, it pulls you so far in that you'd rather just go to work, stay at home, go to work, stay at home, go to work, stay at home. I mean, it has really pulled you in to the point where you just don't want to be anywhere around people where that fear will show up again. So just keep in mind, you've got to identify that. And there's so many things you can do to identify that. Man, today's world, there's online courses, there's books that you can read and listen to. There's, workshops that you can go to. There's all sorts of ways that you can deal with that. You can go see professionals too, right? You can go see a psychologist. You can there's all sorts of ways for you to get connected to what those fears are that are holding you back, right? That are there. One of my best ways is, the people that know me the best is really just go talk to those people and have them be vulnerable with you and truthful and really just share with you that, what they see on their end. Because if you really consider this, we're really responsible for, the fear to win, right? We're responsible by letting that fear run again and again and again. And if you can identify that fear, then now you can really, no longer let it run unconsciously. And, you can take control of that wheel, be responsible about your life, and alter and, change that fear into something positive. Something that's going to motivate you to go really to that next level that's there for you. So, and this is the key piece. It's going to help you find your soulmate even quicker. The faster that you get through this and recognize those fears and challenge those fears and be courageous and fearless about it, and then get relentless on what you've got to do, even though you're going to fail, and you're welcoming those fails so that you know that you're getting closer to that success. That's exactly what's going to happen. So you got to identify that fear. You got to study that fear, right? Like, where did it come from? Why am I letting this happen? How do I challenge this? How do I create a new, more positive way to do that? Start to get into it and really discover, be someone that's committed to that, because that's what's really going to make the biggest difference in you finding your soulmate quicker. Just sitting on the couch or heading to bars or whatever, it's not going to do it. Trust me, swiping through your phone over and over and over is not going to do it either. That just doesn't work. You literally, you might get lucky. Like I said, it's just a low probability activity that's not going to lead you to your soulmate. At least you might find something to be comfortable with and settle with, right? And you might get married and have years and years of being comfortable, but not really being with your soulmate. And eventually that falls apart and costs you thousands of dollars and time, all because of that. No, have what you really want now in the beginning and build on that, elevate that. And you can do that by being that courageous and fearless person that wants that change, that wants to move forward. And the way you do that is you got to identify those fears, you got to study them, and then the next thing you got to do is you got to turn those fears and those stories that are in your head that are there from your past. You got to turn the stories in your head into something positive. You can't let it be there. You've got to do that. You've got to choose a powerful intention of being. That's the key, is turning all those negative ways of being that are there, whether it's being alone or being frustrated or being sad. You got to turn those around into positive beings and setting the intention of that. And there's so many, by doing that, you're going to show up being more courageous. You're going to show up being more fearless. You're going to show up as a relentless person. Those are all positive intentions of being, right? And if you do that and you stick to that, and you know you're going to fail on those, right? You know you're going to fail on being courageous. You know you're going to fail, but you're relentless to make that happen. Then you're going to get the results that you want. You really are. I mean, this is, gosh, it's tough. And I know it's a tough journey. And I promise you, if you do that, like, everything's going to light up. It's just, it's going to make life 10 times more than it is. And you got to keep challenging yourself for that. So once you identify it, you study it, you know what it is, create those powerful intentions for yourself on how you want that to be. And I'll give you a example of this, because your living your ideal life is on the line, and it's crucial. And for me, I set the intention in the beginning, because at the time I was frustrated. I felt very sad. I was angry about my past relationships, and how they began and how they ended. I was feeling sad. I definitely felt like I wasn't good enough for anyone, and that I had to be more successful for anyone to love me. I felt like basically like my life was hit with a wrecking ball, and it was crushed, and I had pieces everywhere, and there was just no way I was going to get all those pieces together, right? But then when I set the intention, I worked on myself. I looked at all those different fears and all those things that were there, and I went to studying on all of those and how I could break through those. And setting the intention was like one of the core things that I recognized in multiple things that I looked at. They all led to, you need to set an intention. You need to set a new way of being that's going to pull you and push you, to your ideal life. And that's what I did, and I created, being loving around that was crucial. Being vulnerable, being happy, and being adventurous were my three. I mean, those three were like huge, and and it was all wrapped around love, but I had to be vulnerable. I realized that when I was talking to my friends, they were telling me, you're not too vulnerable, you're really secretive, and so it was like, oh, okay, well, what if I was the opposite of that? What if I was vulnerable with people? Maybe that would make a difference in how I begin my relationships, and that was huge. What if I was happy, and adventurous? And we talked about being happy and how crucial that is in day one. So those are the things that pulled me and pushed me right there to my ideal life and my soulmate. And, like I said, I went on 43 dates in 120 days to find my beautiful wife. We've been married for 12 years. And I know you can do this, man. I know you can do it. And people have done it that I've coached and worked with have done it way faster than me. Like they didn't wait 120 days, which I thought was crazy, before they knew that they found that special person. Yeah. And I don't mean that you have to get married in 120 days. What I mean is, like, you're a solid, like, this is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life. Because some people don't even want to get married, so it don't feel like it's that, but it's like, this is the one, right, that I know that I want to be around for the rest of my life. And when you have that feeling and it connects like that, I mean, that's where it's crystal clear for you. And, and I want you to have that. So following the steps today are really another key component to building the foundation of you finding your soulmate. So I want to open it up to any of the discoveries that you've gotten so far from day one, day two. Please put them in the comments of and let me know again, what are those things? And then any questions that you have, any questions or concerns or, yeah, but Jeff, anything, that's there. I definitely want to, address those and help you with those. So let's look. I think I have a couple here coming in. Some of the biggest challenges. Susan said, finding someone who matches my morals and lifestyles and non-negotiables. So this is definitely one of those key things, in finding someone like that. You definitely have to be crystal clear on your vision and have total clarity about that. And we're going to talk about that actually tomorrow, but to find someone like that, first off, it's like day one, you've got to be in a place where you're attracting them. You've got to get your life in order. You've got to have happiness alive. You got to be, it's got to be present, like right there. That's the first thing. Then you've got to, what we did in today's session, you've got to make sure that all those fears are like falling apart and you're clear on your intention that's there. You got to really make sure that that's present. And then you got to get clear. Who is that person? Who is it? How can I see them? Because it's kind of like driving a car or buying a car, if you really want a red Ferrari, then you'd be surprised how many red Ferraris are out there, because when you're driving, most of the time you don't notice them. But when they are there, they show up because that's exactly what you want. You're clear on that. We used to play the game, the bug game, right? When we traveled as a child, and it's like, you almost would never see Volkswagen bugs if throughout the whole week or the month or wherever. But when it came down to travel time and we're driving around, and there they all were, right? So Volkswagen bugs are everywhere. In today's world, that's probably like the Prius, right? They're everywhere now. So, but you don't recognize them until you actually play the game to focus on them. So you've got to identify who that person is, and then believe it or not, you're going to see a lot more of that special person that you're looking for. So that's what I would say to that. We got more to say about that on that, and people often say that you set high. She also said that set high standards, and high standards is good, right? Some people give in to that comfortable life, right? And you don't want to give in to that comfortable life. You want to give in to what you really want in life, because you want to live your ideal life. You don't want to live a comfortable life close to your ideal life, right? That doesn't sound too powerful. So you want that high standard, and we'll talk about that and how to identify that special person, because maybe your standards are a little different and you just need to alter the way you're communicating them, because communication is really key when you're talking about who you're looking for. And did you create that vision of your ideal soulmate from your past, right? Like, my last girlfriend was this way. She was always nagging and so on. So my next, definitely don't want that, right? If you're looking to your past to create your future, then you're gonna eventually attract more of the same. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to your past, right, to create your future, you're going to create more of the same. You can't justify from your past to create that future. It just doesn't work. All right. So anyhow, we're going to do some vision on that tomorrow. So that's really cool. Good, very good question. Let's see. Rhonda said she is tired. Or she's tried out some dating sites, gone to the dates, some dates didn't really work out, and so on. So yeah, dating sites. I think dating sites work. They're difficult, just because you don't know if those people are authentic. So that's a hard thing. And the other thing to make dating sites work, and I've helped clients that use dating sites to get their introductions, even though I believe you should really have your community introduce you to your soulmate versus a website that you have no relationship with. But to make those things work in today's world, you've got to be crystal clear on what it is that you want. And it can't be visual. And that's the hard part about websites and apps and so on. Most of that is just visual. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, I like that feature on her. Oh, this is, it's superficial. And, I think that's a major thing that is not, I mean, it can be in your vision of who you want as your soulmate, but it's not the thing to start the relationship off of. So that's my thoughts on that. I'll talk a little bit more about those things tomorrow, so you'll get a sense of that. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll continue that. Again, submit your questions, comments, anything that you'd like me to answer. Also, share with me those discoveries. What have you discovered? What's been the biggest impact for you from day one, and so on. So I think that's crucial as well. Whatever's there would be fantastic to share. All right. So let's just kind of wrap this up and summarize everything. So, okay. So condition your mind, right? We talked a lot about conditioning your mind, and that's key. You really got to condition that mind. Are you conditioning your mind to be courageous and fearless? Or are you conditioning your mind to just live that comfortable life? What are you doing? Are you consciously driving the car, or is the car driving automatic? So condition your mind. Change those fears into intentions, right? Don't let those fears dictate your actions. Create an intention that's going to dictate your action in alignment to finding your soulmate even quicker. You got that? Change your fears into intentions. Don't let them hold you back. Do your homework. We already talked about that. I'm not going to dwell that down, but be extraordinary. Do your homework. Grow and develop. I promise you, doing it will make a huge difference, not just in finding your soulmate, but it'll make a difference in all other areas of your life. I promise, my business went up in value when I was doing this. Everything just starts your relationships with family and friends. Your health starts to get in check. All sorts of things start to shift when you're doing the homework that we've assigned so far. Submit questions. Definitely do that. We already talked about that. Join the Facebook group. Submit questions. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have fun, man. Have fun along this journey. It's probably the most crucial thing to remind yourself is to have fun and make that happen. Because if you don't have fun, then what is it? What's the point of going on this journey? And like I said, create a community of people that you want to be, that want to succeed. Grab a partner, get some other single friend of yours, have them join the Soulmate Challenge. Go through these conversations together. do the homework together, get together, answer those questions, come with lots of questions to me. This is the way you're going to get. The more vulnerable you are, the more in action you are with this, the faster you're going to find your soulmate. This is not a magic pill. I don't have something like, hey, you watch this and you'll get that. No, you've got to do the work. This is, it takes something to find that special person in your life. So I'm excited to be, coaching you through all of this. Let me know if you have any other questions, and we'll go to day 4, and I look forward to talking to you then. So make it a great day.